everyone, it's Bob McCranie with This Month in Realty, and today I'm so happy to have back Heather Witte. Now, Heather is still with the Witte Group, EXP Realty, if you'll remember, and she serves the Austin and Georgetown areas of Texas, which are super hot right now. Heather, tell us a little bit about the Austin and Georgetown markets.
Well, we're still going real strong here, Bob. And per usual, I do have a little presentation to share with you. So I will go ahead and put that up here.
I look forward to this.
I didn't come with a presentation, wouldn't you?
You know what? It's great. Show us what you got.
So this is November, and of course, we're going back to October because we're always a month in arrears. So for November report, we're looking at October numbers. And the interesting thing about the Austin area is we keep seeing increases across the board, except for inventory. The residential home sales again, in the Austin Metropolitan Statistical Area, the MSA, which again is Travis, Williamson, Bastrop, Caldwell, and Burnett counties, has been up. It actually soared 31.5% year over year. I mean, that is insanity. That's craziness right there. So good news for anyone selling a home. Across the 5-county MSA, and again, that's supposed to see October, sorry about that, the residential home median price increased by 12.1%. That's again a huge increase year over year. This sales dollar volume jumped 51.7%. How cool is that? Now, of course, housing inventory decreased, and it decreased a whole 1.3 months year over year down to 1.2 months of inventory. So just as a recap, normal market is between 5 and 6 months of inventory, okay? So anything below that is going to be an extremely hot seller's market. When we're down here in the 1.2 months of inventory, it is a seller's market every day of the week. Of the 6 months of inventory, it's a buyer's market. So we have historically stayed in this seller's market. And again, with rock bottom interest rates, we have higher home prices, and it's again creating a strong seller's market. So good news for you.
Excellent.
Sell a home.
Excellent. Okay.
Active listings versus sold listings. If you're looking at that year over year, again, October 2019, you're looking at a lot of active listings. Look at how few we have for the same year. I mean, that's like half, less than half. That's crazy. And the number of sold listings actually is up a little bit from last year. Right. So
incredibly tight.
Low inventory again, so few active listings and everything's selling like hotcakes. So we think. We're still seeing expireds, which is a little crazy to me. Now, if you look at the number of new listings, the number of new listings is up a little bit, but again, days on market's way down. So it's not taking as long to sell. When a house comes on the market, it can pretty much be gone shortly thereafter if it's priced right. Still important.
Excellent.
And again, we're still seeing expired listings. And everyone's asking me, how can properties not sell when we're in such a hot market? And that's a wonderful question, and there are reasons for that. So the biggest thing with expired listings is you still do, and we'll talk about this here a little bit later, you still do have to price your home correctly, and it absolutely must be marketed correctly nowadays. And that means high online presence. You can't just go and take a realtor who's going to stick a sign in the yard and be like, well, I'll let you know when somebody calls me about your property wants to buy it. But until then, you just sit tight. That's not the way to sell a home anymore. I don't care how hot the market is. So I agree. We're still seeing properties expire because they're not priced right. They're not being marketed correctly.
Excellent. Okay. So I think you segued pretty well into one of the next questions I had for you, which was, if you're pricing your home in such a tight market, why can't I price it high?
Right. Okay. Very good question. Very good question. So again, let's take a look at where we are here. So why pricing your house right is essential. Okay. So if you price it too high, which is kind of where sellers want to go right now, because it is a strong seller's market.
Yeah, I can always negotiate down. That's
exactly. Let's just stick it way up here and we'll ask, pie in the sky pricing, $1 million for a $250,000 home, and we'll get it, right? Because everybody wants to buy in Austin. Not the case. Okay. You still have to have your home priced correctly, because any agent out there, any buyer out there is going to look at what's available. And while that what's available is very small right now, those homes are still, the majority of them are still listed within reality. Okay. So if all of a sudden you see this house and it's listed way up high in the sky type number, people are going to think, oh, that's an unrealistic person. They're not going to negotiate. They're not interested in reality. So we're not even them, right? So the house sits on the market longer. What happens when the house sits on the market and you actually want to sell it? You price drop the home, right? The price goes down. Buyers are going, is something wrong with the house? Why didn't it sell? Maybe there's major deficiencies in the house. Right? And so now your house gets a stigma associated with it. And so nobody wants to come and look at it. And you sit on the market month after month after month, and it doesn't sell. Okay. The other side of the coin, you don't want to list it too low, because immediately people are going to think, okay, there's something wrong with the house, because why is it listed so incredibly low? And it'll decrease your future buying power, because people think something's wrong. It'll lose because the right buyer won't come and look at it. You're going to miss those eyes, those important eyeballs on your house that actually have the money and are willing to pay the right fair market value, which is why pricing it correctly is so important. And in today's hot market, if you price it correctly and you market it effectively, you're going to get multiple offers every day of the week, which as a seller puts you in the driver's seat and makes getting to the closing table super fun for you.
Excellent. Excellent. I love your graphics.
Thank you.
Really good. So considering all this, is now a good time to be a buyer with the mortgage interest rates being so crazy and low?
It is. And let me show you this fun little graphic here. So this is 2008 mortgage interest rates from 2008 to current. Okay. And you'll see there's a 30-year fixed, 15-year fixed, and 5-year adjustable. So right about here is where we saw October 2008. And then everything dropped off the cliff, right? And things have been progressively getting lower and lower. But as you can see right now, look at where
the floor
are and compared to history. And again, 30-year fixed, which is what most people are going for, right? They're at under 3%.
And every time you lose a percentage point, you gain how much you can buy.
Yes,
so that's the converse of that. So excellent.
Exactly. So basically they're at historic lows. And even with how crazy the housing prices are going in different areas, it is still very, very likely that it is cheaper for you to buy a house now than to continue renting. The amount that you're paying in rent is going to be so much higher with these extremely low interest rates than what you can pay for rent for the most part. I mean, every market's a little different, but definitely worth a phone call to an agent, me, to have that conversation and see if you qualify. And by the way, you do not need to have saved 20% down for a down payment to make a purchase.
True. Very true.
Don't think that you don't have enough money saved. And oh, by the way, if it's your first home, there are home buyer programs, first-time home buyer programs available that help with down payment assistance and other avenues for you to get into a home. And there's also zero down loans that might be an option for you depending on where you're looking to buy. So definitely
great.
Give me a call. Let's have a conversation and see if we can't get you out of that rental situation into your own home.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Always call the right realtor. So Heather, you've been through a little bit of a scare recently that a lot of us realtors are worried about and have actually gone through some of us. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So I meet a lot of people. I'm not one of those agents who has like one client at a time. I have probably 10 people on my books right now that I'm working with. And that being said, I actually have to go out and physically meet them during a pandemic. I, of course, am extremely safe. I was a molecular biologist for a very long time. I've worked with infectious disease, worked with viruses, including RNA viruses, just like Corona. And so I know, mask up. Don't go, touching people and, rubbing your face and doing all that stuff, because I know how viruses transmit. And so I was actually with a person this past week, Friday and Saturday, and She texted me yesterday morning and said, hey, I'm positive. She tested positive for COVID. And so that immediately put me into, standoff mode. Let me go and get tested. Let me make sure. I emailed and texted all of my clients, told them, nope, I'm available by Zoom, available by phone, text, email, but I'm not meeting you until I know that
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
given the timeline from when I saw this woman to the time I got tested, that should have been sufficient time. If I was going to be infected, the virus would have done its thing and I would have gotten a positive test, but thank goodness I came back negative. So
Wonderful, wonderful.
It's there. But it just goes to show you that, you don't have to be out on the front lines like in a hospital or, a police officer. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
is going to work on a daily basis and interacting with other human beings can be put in a situation where they might get infected. So everybody stay very safe. I know it was a little scary.
Yes. So Heather, speaking of which, will you come back next month and talk to us?
Of course I will.
Okay. How would somebody reach you?
Let me show you. You've got to love my little doggy pictures. So
I love the dog pictures.
Yes, here we go. Here's my pups. This is 4 out of the 6 I currently have because we are in one right now. And so you can reach me at 512-994-4663 or at Witte Group. You can PM me or go to my website, and there's other ways to get in touch with me there.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Everybody tune in next month to hear more from Heather and other real estate professionals around the United States and Canada. Take care.
Thank you.